Hello, boys and girls, and we are live once again on a lovely Tuesday, almost fall afternoon. Here we are. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Skylar?
I am fantastic. How are you, Jeff?
Looks like, you know what, for a little while longer, you're going to be able to hang out in the backyard.
Yes, I am. Just a bit.
And you have a lovely fence behind you, and it looks like you've been taking care of your yard, and that's very nice. So,
yeah, I'm redoing the office now, so that's why I'm in the backyard, because the office is destroyed.
Okay.
It's not very presentable.
Oh, that's all right. No, I like it. So you might as well do it while you can. You know what I mean? So.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's coming time where that's all I'm going to be able to do is in-house projects rather than out-house. So.
All right. So for those that don't know, this is Skylar Galt. He is the president and CEO of the Murray Area Chamber of Commerce, taking the reins and going full Ben-Hur style into chamber world. So good for you. Yeah. So how you been? It's been a week since I talked to you last. Last time you broadcasted from a patio of a restaurant. So
yeah, it's always busy, but it's been a great week. We're getting ready to move. So
well, hold on before you get into that.
Oh, okay.
That comes in our in the news segment.
I'm sorry, am I moving ahead?
No, it's all right. We just need to first of all thank our sponsors. First of all, the Murray Area Chamber of Commerce. Without them, we wouldn't be here. So lots of great things going on with the Murray Area Chamber of Commerce, helping to strengthen the business community, bring us all together, especially in rough times like some of us are dealing with. We're a good resource for your business. So if you're not a member, join today. Then absolutely, please follow me on all of my social platforms. You can follow me at Jeff in the House Realty for full service real estate stuff, and then also on the digital marketing end at Jeff Goes Social. So, but big time shout out though to our title sponsor, AAA Restoration, the good friends Marie and Don down there at AAA Restoration.
They're rock stars.
They're rock stars, and they just barely got back from their anniversary trip, I believe, up to Montana and Wyoming and parts up north. And we're going to have to bring them on because I think every so often we should bring Marie and Don on so they can tell us what's going on in AAA restoration world and just all the fun things that they do. So good on them and happy anniversary and welcome back. So get on down to AAA Restoration. So let's go with in the news. Boom. There you go. So Skylar, you got to tell me. Let's start within the news. Let's talk about you. You volunteered at the Murray Children's Pantry today, which I've done a couple of times, which is very cool what they got going on there. But apparently today was a big deal day for them. So what was going on over there today?
Yeah, we had a move day there. So again, Murray with AAA Restoration was nice enough to donate not only her power, but also some very heavy manpower with it, and and we were able to move. It must have been a couple of 1,000 pounds worth of food, and also the Murray Chamber donated some shelving. Blade donated some shelving, so we got them all set up and ready to go in their new spot.
All right, and that new spot. I mean, they moved to the Murray Baptist Church, which is east of State Street, just west of the Tosh complex. And now there was a cute little house next to the Murray Baptist Church, and that's going to be the brand new home of the Murray Children's Pantry.
Yep,
right?
Correct.
And the beauty of that is because it's in this cute little home, there's actually a pantry in the house, so it's now legit, right?
Yeah, well, we took up the whole living room. Now the pantry.
So it's a walk-in pantry.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that's cool. That's really cool. So what else we have going on? This is a big week for the chamber.
Yes, it is.
I mean, a really big week. Number one, this is going on. So we're at
obviously
episode 23 of the digital meeting series, which is super cool. But we are now deep diving into 3 live events this week. So, some people are dipping their toes in the live events, but we are like,
Going head first.
head first, barrel roll or cannonball into the pool. That's us.
Yep.
So let's talk about the first one, which is tomorrow at 5:00. And this one actually not only is it great for this chamber member, but it's also has a nice backstory for the chamber as well. So let's talk about, we have a ribbon cutting tomorrow, 5 to 6:30 p.m. for K Real Estate, 5411 South Vine Street, Suite 3B. And that'll be tons of fun. And tell us a little bit about that and what makes this one so special.
So this one's going to be, it's officially a ribbon cutting for K Real Estate, but Jen has been gracious enough to offer us some office space within that. We're going to have our own separate ribbon cutting, which is good. But tomorrow's all about Jen, and we want to definitely, appreciate her and thank her for her contribution. She actually gives a portion of her commissions, all of her commissions, back to charity. Whether there's 3 of them listed on our website. One's for abused animals, one's for children, and the other one I'm forgetting right now. But she does definitely give back, and is an awesome person. We're good. It's good to have her on the team, on the board of directors.
Yeah, I noticed she was on the board of directors. I think she's the only one that I have not at least met digitally so far. So I'm looking.
Well, you have to be at the ribbon cutting.
Yep. Well, I'll be there. I'll be covering it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll be reporter Jeff, so we can have all the good details for our future show. So anyway.
Also, anybody that liked that awesome graphic for it, Jeff designed it. He brought us into the at least the 20th century, hopefully the 21st, with not having stock photos of everything.
There you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, whatever I can do to help, as always, I'm down, because the chamber, and I've the chamber has really given me a tight, really taken my friend level as far as high quality friends up a few notches. So it's always fun to develop those relationships, both business like and personally as well. So we invite everybody to come down to the ribbon cutting and celebrate a fantastic Murray business who does a lot of reciprocation back into the community. So looking forward to hanging out with Jen and Skylar and the team over there. What else then? If that's not enough, you're making Thursday Power Packed, right?
Yep, absolutely. So Lenny's running these events. Mm-hmm. He's got mock at 8:00 in the morning in Murray Park, Pavilion 1. Mm-hmm. Wear a jacket, might be a little cool. And then, so that event is $5. But then if you stay for the lunch after, you get the $5 back for your lunch. And so instead of being $15, it's only $10.
Wow.
2 events for $15.
Oh, and Lenny's going to be there. He said, wear a jacket because it might be cool. But I would say if Lenny's going to be there, it's always going to be cool, right?
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that right?
Obviously.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So,
but you do have to pre-register for the events, so make sure you hop on to. I don't know if you can put a link in the chat box here, but
I'm multitasking, so I'll put the links to it in the comments of the show the second I'm done. So we'll do that.
All right, cool. Yeah.
But anyway, you got to register for that. You can go onto the Murray Chamber website and go to the calendar section. There'll be links to it there, or I'll put the links after the show. But anyway, what is for those that don't know what mock means? It doesn't mean that we're traveling at the speed of sound, but what does it mean in this case?
Or we're mocking you at all.
Oh no, there you go. You got that one.
Yeah, I mean there may be some of that, but that's usually comes from my end, and you can
see, you're getting the hang of this show. You're getting it. There you go.
So it's I honestly forget what the acronym stands for, but it's speed networking essentially. Mm-hmm. But we're doing it with all the the proper COVID face masks, social distancing. Mm-hmm. You give a 1.5 2 minute kind of elevator speech of your business, what you're doing, who you'd like to connect with, and then you get to connect with there's usually 30 to 40 people that show up. And we, we just have a great event with, getting connected with new people. And honestly, it's not necessarily the people that you connect with. It's the people that you are connecting with who they know is
Gotcha.
who I end up connecting with.
Mm-hmm. And I might be stepping out on a limb here, but I think MACH stands for Murray Area Chamber of Commerce. I could be crazy.
H stood for something else, but maybe I'm crazy.
All right. Well, whoever's in charge of that, tell us what that acronym means, and we'll see who's right.
Lenny should be dimed into this, so if he's not, it's on him.
All right. So far we have those that are telling us that they're online. We have Jim Tarr is watching, and Marie Getch is back, and she says hi, Jeff and Skylar. Hi, Marie. Welcome back to the 801. Hope you had a good trip. So we're doing good with that. Then you also have, I actually created the graphic just last night. We have another ribbon cutting on the 30th for EOS Fitness, I believe.
Yes, we do.
And that one's going to be around 5 o'clock at night.
No, that one's at noon.
Oh, that one's a noon one. Okay, I'm getting my times together. Okay,
no worries.
So tomorrow's at 5. A week from tomorrow is at noon. But so put all that stuff in your calendar. So we're talking hang out with me here and Skylar digitally on Tuesday. You got 2 things on Thursday, the speed networking, and then a great lunch that'll be catered by, who's catering that one?
Which one?
The Thursday lunch at the pavilion.
Oh, Thursday lunch, I believe, is still
those fabulous guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The food truck guy.
Yeah, the food truck guy. So
and Lisa says that it's Murray Area Chamber hosts speed networking.
Yeah, thank you, Elisa, getting us on. We should have all of our notes together for this before we start.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah,
it's more fun when we're fumbling around, though.
Exactly, it is. And Matt's on board, and he's helping us out. Everybody, thanks. See, we're a community. When they see us struggling here, they come to the rescue.
I think they just like pointing out when we're fumbling around.
That's probably easy to do, and it'll be probably pointed out the next board meeting that
those guys. Hey, look,
those guys.
That's who's catering it.
Oh, so I was pretty close. I was like those cool guys or those one guys. It's just those guys.
Those guys.
Not these guys. Those guys. Okay. All right. Do you think we're done screwing around and we should get to our fabulous guest today?
Yeah, we should probably get down to business.
Yeah, we should do that. We have a really great guest. Our good friend of the show, Jim Tarr, has been working really hard to set this one up, and we're really excited that it also reflects what Jim is up to in helping out with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters. But we're going to go with we're going to the top of the chain, and we're going to talk to a great guest today. Happy to have her. Let's put on a little pixie dust and bring her into the feed. It is Jill Sundstrom. Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's lovely to
Jill.
have you. Welcome. And everybody's been excited about this show to hear about all the great things you've got going on over there. So for those folks that are keeping score at home, please introduce yourself, give us an idea of a little bit of your background and what your role is there at the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Utah. Please.
Yeah. Jill Sundstrom. I work with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah, and I work mainly in our program area and then also our donation center, our social enterprise area. I'm the chief operating officer here. I've been here about 18 years, so I've experienced a lot of what Big Brothers Big Sisters has to offer, including being a big sister myself 3 times. So really enjoy what I do here. And I love the variety that comes with it. But Big Brothers Big Sisters, as Jeff mentioned in kind of setting us up, we believe that potential lives within every child in the state of Utah, and we want to help to defend that potential and help them to find it. So we know that some of the kids we serve face many different challenges, and we want to help them, discover their own potential through the help of one-to-one mentoring. So that's a little bit about what we do and who I am, I guess.
All right. So I'm going to go straight up. I mean, I used some of your mission statements to title today's meeting, and maybe you can define that a little bit. So I'm looking at your website right now, and it says, our mission is to create and support one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of youth. Unpackage that for us for a little bit and tell us what that means.
Yeah. So Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah does one thing in 3 different ways. We have 3 different programs, but we do one-to-one mentoring in whatever program you're in with us. We believe that, like I said, all kids have potential. We don't believe that we're creating any type of potential. We believe it lies in all of us. But sometimes when you have one person that can see that with you and help you to discover it and help you to figure that out, that we know that brings great results for kids' lives, both short-term and long-term. If you think back in your own life, you probably had multiple adults that believed in you, or hopefully you were lucky enough to have multiple adults that believed in you. And that's what we're trying to provide for these kids is one adult that's less worried about what's going on in their family's life or any of the struggles going on there, and they may be many. But is more worried about, helping this one child succeed and see what they can do, expose them to different things in their community, show them, all the things that are out there that we all, maybe did with aunts, uncles, friends, family members as we grew up.
All right. This is Jeff Evans along with Skylar Galt. We're here at the Murray Digital Meeting Series, episode 23, with the lovely Jill Sundstrom from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Utah. So, Jill, there's a lot of great information on your website, and I would tell everybody to get on over there and check it out. I will put, addition to all those other things for our chamber stuff, I'm going to put all of your information and website so people can get involved. But then the website moves into your vision, which is a slightly different variation of the mission. And you kind of touched on it, but I'm going to read it for everybody to hear. And our vision is that all youth achieve their full potential. And with that one sentence, it kind of goes back that everybody has potential built in, and you guys are there to help them achieve, draw it out, bring it out, and make it blossom, is what I'm kind of gathering here. And it says every child has the innate ability to achieve great success. With our mission and vision, we are working together to build a brighter future for all of the kids in our community. You're literally helping to develop our future. That's what it sounds like to me. And now I want to get into like some of the numbers here, and then you can expand on this, because there's great information on this website, and it's making my job as a host very easy. So it said last year you had 1,217 kids enrolled in the program, 668 in community-based mentoring, 339 in site-based mentoring, and 210 in Mentor 2.0. So why don't you, those are great numbers, and then we can go into the age groups of who you serve. But what do those 3 categories mean?
Yeah, so community-based programming is probably what you think of when you hear Big Brothers Big Sisters. That's you are matched one-to-one with a child. You go to their home, you pick them up. You have a relationship with their parent, along with our match support specialist that's checking in with you every month. And you're doing activities that you both love. We work really hard in our interview process to make sure that we're matching people with similar interests and similar goals. And we help to set some of those match goals with you right up front, and then help to encourage them to continue to set match goals as they go forward in their relationship. But they might go out to community events, go to a library, explore the neighborhood that child lives in, kind of introduce them to some of those community things all around them. And that's kind of the community-based program. It's really built to allow each individual match to do the things that they enjoy together. Site-based programming is a little bit more structured, and it's one of the areas where high school volunteers can also volunteer. So we're in about 23 schools throughout the state of Utah, and typically during their after-school program, which looks a little different right now in times of COVID, the high school volunteer or the adult volunteer would come to the school and meet with their child at the school, same day each week for 1 hour. During the after school program. And it's a little more structured. We host a little bit of Curriculum is probably a strong word, but an idea or a thought that we're exploring that week as a group, and then they break into their one-to-one matches and do that together. Mentor 2.0 is our newest program. It is currently only at Cottonwood High School, but you're matched with a high school student hopefully during their freshman year. And during that time, you guys communicate electronically every week to talk about what the child has learned in their class that week, about socio-emotional skills or college and career readiness after high school. So you're chatting back and forth about that curriculum once per week, and then once per month you're meeting in person or during times of COVID via Zoom, and having dinner together and chatting about the cumulative learning from that month. So Mentor 2.0 really has allowed us to serve high school students in a way we weren't really able to in the past, and also get volunteers that maybe weren't able to commit to our more structured one-to-one programs.
All right. So you just mentioned that you serve a wide range of ages, and every one of those ages have their own. I mean, every kid is in a different phase of development, and be it both mentally, physically, and emotionally, both of those zones are, very different. Because I never want to be that awkward junior high kid ever again. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That was rough. So tell me a little bit how you match people to the right age. Not only it seems like it's a puzzle piece. So you not only have to match to the right age and the right interests, or just all those different, how all those components go together. What would, like, say, if I joined, what is the vetting process? If I said, hey, Jill, I don't know who I fit with, but I want to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll start, if you go to our website, there's a brief orientation, or Jim does some great live orientations for us about what being a big brother might look like, and answering some of the questions about the kids we serve and the population of kids we serve. And so we really want people to have a good idea of, we're asking for a 1-year commitment. That's a big commitment. We know that. So we want people to know that going in. And then we are going to do a fairly thorough vetting process. This is one-to-one mentoring. This is child safety. It's important to us that we do the very best we can. So once you go through that orientation, you're going to spend some time with one of our enrollers, and they're going to go through about a 2-hour interview process with you. And they're going to talk about, why you'd like to volunteer, a little bit about your family history, your history, mentors you had in your life. And throughout that interview process, they're going to do a little bit of training, and then they're going to kind of finish up with your preferences. So whether you had a preference or not at the beginning of that process, we're going to kind of help you think through, like, what would you be comfortable working with? What would you be good at working with? What kind of kid would be best for you to be matched with? And then our enrollers from there, we're going to send you on your way to do some mini trainings about mentoring and setting boundaries and proper youth safety protocols and all those things. And we're going to start, our enrollers are going to do their part of assessing you through references, through, public domain searches, and then they're going to also run your background check. So at that point, they're gathering all that information, you're finishing up your training. Then we come back together one more time and we chat about your training. What further questions do you have now that you've spent 2 hours with us talking about this? You've done some training, you've learned about the kids we serve. What questions do you have? What are you nervous about? What are those things? And then I like to say it's a little bit of science and it's a little bit of luck. Our enrollers get together every week and they have what's called a matching meeting, and we talk about the kids that are on our waiting list and those volunteers that are now ready to be matched. And we, all just, it's kind of a case management process. And we talk about, who would be a good fit for who. We don't match first come, first serve. We match on best fit, because we know that some relationships are hard in general. And we want to give these relationships the best chance they have to go forward.
All right. So I went to the section of our mission is urgent, and this is really puts it out there as far as what you're up against and what you're trying to make a huge impact on. And I'll just go over a couple of these things and I'll let you comment on afterwards. It says of the 300,000 kids living in Utah, nearly 1/3 are living in poverty and 1/5 are living in intergenerational poverty. So I'm assuming that means the family has never known anything but poverty. There are 44,000 Utah kids who have experienced separation from a parent due to incarceration. Suicide is the number one cause of death among Utah youth 11 to 17. More than 1/3 of all people who came to Utah as refugees are kids, 24,000, and 19% of Utah kids are living in a single-parent homes, and the poverty rate for single moms with kids is 34%. And then we go into a whole nother section of percentages and statistics. And so with that said, Jill, tell me a little bit, what do you have as far as your organization? Do you have goals to attack these numbers, or what are some of the benchmarks that you guys as a staff have to work on some of these statistics that look a little daunting in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. We really believe in the mission and vision of community impact, community-wide impact. So we know that if we impact one child, we may impact a family going forward that impacts a community that, impacts going forward from there. One of my favorite stories is we have a former board chair who was a little brother in, in Texas many years ago. And he talks a lot about how his big brother taught him what a family could look like. And he also taught him what that path out of poverty looked like for him and his family. And now he's a very successful man. He went to Rice University. He joined the Navy, similar to his big brother, and now, is a partner in a local law firm. So we try to expose kids to other opportunities outside their current view, and also help them to see other options as well. And kids that we serve, what we try to look at, kids that are facing multiple risk factors with few balancing protective factors. So not all kids are a good fit for our program. If someone, just because you're from a single parent home doesn't mean you need a big brother. If you have a lot of supports built into your life already, then we're going to let those supports do that work. We're here to serve kids that maybe, are from a single parent home and have poverty, or, are living in a home where their parent one of their parents or loved ones is incarcerated, or, maybe there's opioid misuse going on in that home or family somewhere. And those are kind of the prevention efforts we're looking at. So we use a pre and post test. It's called the Youth Outcome Survey, and we're measuring kids, how they're feeling about things, and things like risky behavior, social acceptance, those types of things. So we know that last year, 84% of the kids that we served improved their long-term outcomes in risky behavior questions. And 94% felt more socially accepted and associated better with their peers, their parents. We know that having a good relationship with an adult is transferable. Oftentimes, if you have a good relationship with a big brother or someone, it can help to improve your relationship with a parent.
Excellent. All right. Once again, this is Jeff Evans along with Chamber President Skylar Galt. We're here at the Murray Chamber Digital Meeting Series, and we're with Jill Sundstrom, COO of Big Brothers Big Sisters. So one thing that I wanted to ask you, Skylar, is there's got to be a way that the Murray Chamber, in some form or fashion, can partner with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, because you got to, out of all those people that are helping, some of them are going to be entrepreneurs, or they might be turned on to entrepreneurship or business leadership roles and stuff like that. So what are your thoughts, Skylar? And do you have any questions for Jill?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess my first thought is that we do have a Murray Youth Chamber. You talked about having those high school kids in there. We've got the little army of high school kids that we can have volunteer for volunteer hours, and we love working with nonprofits. So we'd be happy to work with you in expanding that. personal note, I actually was a volunteer for Big Brothers Big Sisters 2 years, or not 2 years ago. I did it for 2 years. And it was a very rewarding experience. I know the kids are supposed to definitely get something out of it, but I felt like I got just as much out of it as they did. And everything you're saying with the screening, with the matching kids up, that is absolutely 100% true. That I remember it being a very a process, let's say, of getting to the point where they're like, yeah, I guess we'll trust you with a 10-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but it was a great experience. When I got to the end of it, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And we're always finding that people have been involved in the past, either as littles or volunteers. And that's one of the ways people can help us is just continue to share that story, those experiences you've had with mentoring. And I will add one thing kind of to go along with Skylar. We don't just send you out there into the community either. Skylar probably experienced this. We have what we call a mentoring support coordinator that's going to keep in touch with you, with the parent, with the child, and we're going to be checking in at least monthly to see how things are going, and we're going to help you with goal setting, and we're also going to help you with those hard times because, like all relationships, things go through honeymoon phases maybe, and then things can get more difficult. And kids are kids. They like to test boundaries. So we have staff on hand to kind of help you navigate those waters as well. And also, if the family's struggling with something and you become aware of that, we're here to help refer them to other organizations. We know, again, we believe in that community impact, community-wide impact. So we're not going to solve all the family's problems. We're here to help refer them to other organizations that can help as well.
All right. We'd like to also invite, in addition to Skylar, given his experience with Big Brothers Big Sisters, anybody else out there that's watching, if you guys have any questions or if anybody has any experiences yourself, we'd love to hear about it. Social media and networking is about storytelling, so we're curious about your stories of how Big Brothers and Big Sisters have impacted you. And I think, Skylar, you really touched on something that is super important of how rewarding it is to the person volunteering to mentor somebody. In fact, even more so than sometimes the adult comes away with the bigger gift than the kid got. Is that kind of what the experience you've had? That's what it sounded like anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. That is absolutely the experience I had. That it was just a great little guy, and hopefully he got as much out of it as I did. So
yeah.
I'm curious what as far as the follow-ups, I actually got because I played video games with a kid for one of the experiences. So are you still getting in trouble for video games?
Not necessarily in trouble for video games. Depends on how you're connecting. So we just want to make sure that everyone's connecting on the same page. No, hopefully not in trouble for video games.
Yeah, it was just that's what he has to do every single time, and I'm just like, dude, they told me I can't do video games. They told me I can't do it. All right, don't tell anybody. We'll play video games.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we do try to help with setting those boundaries, and sometimes we do a better job than others. We kind of try to help train volunteers, and I think we've gotten better at our training over the years with like not setting expectations right up front. Because sometimes as adults, it's easiest for us. We think of the ways we would connect with people. So we think, let's go to dinner, let's go chat. But if you set an expectation that you're going to go to dinner every time you meet, that forms an expectation in a 9 or 10-year-old's mind. And then the first time you try not to go to dinner, they're going to be disappointed. So we do try to work on, and I think we've gotten a lot better at training volunteers on, exposing them to things in our community. Things that are going on already, things that you guys might be hosting or the community might be hosting already.
All right.
Yeah, and that's what I try to do most of the time. Just like it was his favorite thing to do in the world, and it's one of my favorite things to do. So it's just hard to tell him no. Sometimes I gave in like a sucker.
That's okay too.
All right. So. Jill, one other thing we've been very curious about with all of the guests that have come on, and with the global pandemic, the COVID-19, everybody has had to adapt in, their operations and, in kind of in a way reinvent themselves to survive and to still be effective. So I'm going to go back to the screen share, and you do have on your website a complete section about the COVID-19 information and how you guys have adapted. So rather than me reading through it, since you probably know it because you're living it, give us an idea of what you're up to that way.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really we're trying to meet people where they're at, particularly in our community-based program. So we are, for a minute, we were not allowing people to meet in person, just like everyone, and we were helping to coordinate virtual activities that they could do together and support them through that. So we have a whole list on our website. It's really, if you're looking for things to do, even with family members, there's a whole list of virtual activities on our website if you'd like to take a look at that we were giving to our bigs. At this point, we are allowing them to meet in person as long as they're, social distancing or wearing masks if they're unable to social distance. Where it's been a little bit harder for us is really within the schools, as you can imagine. Schools, closed, and then as they've come back, each school is a little bit different as to how they're operating. So our staff are in at Cottonwood High and they're teaching, but we're hosting all our events at Cottonwood virtually at this point. And then in our other site-based programs, it really depends on where you're at and what school you're volunteering at. But about half are probably meeting virtually and about half are meeting, out on the playground. We're trying to do things that are socially distanced and as safe as possible, because we also know that a lot of the families we serve come from some of our most vulnerable communities. So we want our volunteers to be cognizant of that as well, and aware of, we want to be good community members when it comes to the pandemic.
Yeah. But, I was just curious, though, is what was the process that you guys went through to come up with this type of a plan? We've talked to restaurant and bar owners, and we've talked to even our ribbon cutting a couple of Saturdays ago, Tom Knox, and they've had to adjust their retail store. I mean, everybody's had to do it. Tell me, give us a little bit of behind the employee's door of some of the meetings that went on that got you to what you felt was a safe way to operate.
Yeah, like everyone, we were moving more quickly, and sometimes we moved quickly and maybe made a mistake and had to back up. But we sat when when the governor decided to close the schools. That was the day we decided we needed to take a little more firm action as well. And that's when we reached out to all our community-based matches and we asked them to halt. About a week prior, we had asked them to be safe, would send out all the guidelines about making sure you're not ill when you go out, all those things. But we did ask them to halt. And then we tried to just follow, really, we relied a lot on the chamber communities across the state, the Salt Lake Chamber and the different chambers, and their guidelines around reopening businesses and reopening activities. And so we followed the red, orange, yellow pretty closely. So we initially allowed for people to begin meeting in person again, but we were asking bigs not to transport their littles when we were in orange, because there's no social distancing in a car.
Right.
It's not really plausible. So we were encouraging them to go to their little's home or go to their little's community and meet there, which I actually think was really a good, 6-week experiment for a lot of our bigs. They're maybe not spending time in the communities where these littles are living. So I think that can be eye-opening and a learning experience for all of us as well. And then, then we realized that people were doing what they wanted, whether we told them not to or not. And we weren't gonna end relationships over COVID. So we didn't want to, like Skylar said, we didn't want to get anyone in trouble or get after them for those types of things. So we expanded it a little further, and we've just asked people to, we try to be educators in wearing your mask, being safe, being socially distanced.
Yeah, and then you probably, I don't know if you heard today, but the governor just put both Provo and Orem to orange status. So you'll have to rethink some of those folks that you guys are servicing down there. So you're always having to be on your toes. And it actually makes me proud that Murray School Cottonwood High School is in Murray, and that seems to be one of your base of operations, and that makes us proud here in Murray that you guys are operating some of your key elements out of the Murray area. So that's awesome.
Well, we were Murray based for many, many years. We moved to Salt Lake just 6 years ago now. But for me, out of my 18 years, most of my time was spent in Murray. So I have fond Murray memories.
Oh, there you go. There's a tongue twister. I have fond Murray memories too. So there you go. Anyway, we're coming to the close of our segment. We just want to thank you for everything that you're doing, Jill. And I sure Skylar would love to tell you as well that the chamber Murray Chamber is definitely on board as one of your chamber communities that you can count on for sure. And we look forward to checking in with you at a later date to see what you're doing. We want to also give that's one thing I want to hear about, because I actually offered Jim Tarr to come on the show. And he's like, no, Jill will answer all the questions. He seems to be such a great guy. So give us a Jim Tarr story, if you don't mind.
Jim is great. We're so glad to have Jim. He joined us about a year ago, and he fills a role that we've long wished we had, someone that could attend our chamber meetings, could be more community facing. So I think one of the best things about Jim is, and a great story about Jim is, during this pandemic, there have been a lot of like little tasks that no one has ever had to do for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And he has been the first to jump in and say, give them to me. Let me help. I'm not out at this community meeting right now. What can I do? And he has learned new things during this time. And we so appreciate that. So.
All right. Well, that's fabulous. And we appreciate his engagement in the chamber and definitely on this show. So anyway, big shout out to Jim Tarr. Anyway, thank you so much, Jill, for joining us today. It's been a great information, educational, and just to see the impact you're having on so many young lives, which actually helps all of us in the future and helps the greater good. I want to go, we could go on and do an entire other show on this, but very quickly, just give us an idea of those that are watching or those that see the replay of the show. How is the easiest way we can get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Yeah. If you'd like to get involved, either to get a big for your child or to volunteer as a big, just go to bbbsu.org. Like I said, Jim's got some great information up there in his virtual orientation sessions that you can watch, but you can also read through it and apply online. I will say quickly, I didn't have a chance to say this, but our clothing donation center is still currently closed due to the COVID pandemic. So if you'd like to donate it to us in that way, the best way to do that is to go to one of our Savers Partners stores. We're hoping that by the end of the year, we'll be up and running again in our clothing donation center.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. So keep that in mind, folks. But thanks again, Jill. Thanks again, Skylar, for joining us. Your backyard looks fabulous. If we could get everybody to stick on after we end the broadcast, that's cool. So Skylar, I'll see you tomorrow at the ribbon cutting at K Real Estate, and also we might peek in the door and see your office in progress or something like that. So yeah.
All right, sounds like a plan.
All right, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks again to Jill from Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Utah for joining us, and it's been a great time. Thanks a lot, and we'll see everybody later.
Thanks, Jill. Thanks, Jeff.